The ABCs of self, DEF, determined, expecting to have freedom. I think about how it was growing up in a small town with my grandparents. And I remember sitting on the front porch with my grandmother, and she always told me no matter what it is you want to do, you just stay determined and you'll get there. That word determined was so much a part of my life. She was so determined to see her children and her grandchildren do great things. She was so determined to work hard so that she could take that little bit of money that she made and take care of the family. My grandmother was a domestic worker and she worked for 25 plus years cleaning houses, but she was determined that every time she got that check each week that she would put a little bit of money away, save it for a rainy day, and then take some of it and take care of the needs of her grandchildren. That was the kind of woman that she was. She was so determined to see us be successful. And then I think of ABCs of self, expecting to have freedom. Fast forward all these years, we read about history and we see how terrible it was during the 50s and 60s, and we know that our freedoms were jeopardized. But here we are, fast forward, and I'm living in the 21st century and still having those worries, those fears of our freedoms being jeopardized. We got to take it seriously because freedom is not always free, and we're seeing that every single day, knowing that we have to really work hard to make sure that we are equitable, that we are inclusive, and that we are really focusing on what it means to be tolerant and to share ideas and have rich conversations. But I think we talk about conversations too much. We talk about talking too much. Does that make sense? Probably not. But I think we talk about talking too much instead of being about it, instead of doing it, instead of really creating the change. We just talk about how important it is to have conversations, but we're really not having those rich conversations. So when you think of the ABCs of yourself, ask yourself, are you determined? Are you focused? Are you driven to get something done? And then are you expecting to have freedom? And I think most of us are. And if you are indeed expecting to have freedom, ask yourself, what do I have to do to ensure that freedom? That means having conversations, really having conversations, not just saying you're going to do it, and really looking at how can I be more inclusive and tolerant of other people. That means looking at the world through another person's lens, not just the lens that we operate on. So, ABCs of self: determined, expecting to have freedom.